Assalamu alaikum and welcome, guys, to our podcast. So, Myra, we've had discussions on our WhatsApp group talking about land issues, property issues. And if you're not aware, we set up a group not so long ago, maybe about 2 weeks ago, for people who are already living here in Pakistan and people that are looking to move. We have people from all over the world, America, Europe, Netherlands, for example, UK, Sri Lanka, believe it or not. We even had an Indian brother who wants to relocate to Pakistan. So we decided to rename the group from Brits. What did you call it? Brits?
Brits. I don't know.
Brits looking to move to Pakistan, something like that, right? And it is now called Hijra to Pakistan. We have currently got, is it 70 something people?
I think it was 79 last time I checked.
It's 80 now. We just had a brother join. So we're on 80 members, which is surprising because there's so many expats. I knew there were so many expats here, but there's so many more than what I thought there was. And there's a lot more wanting to move here. So inshallah, this WhatsApp group will be helping those that want to come here, and so will the podcast. Let's talk about the nitty gritty and the grimmy. Moving to Pakistan or living in Pakistan whilst court cases are taking place, and that's why you're here. You've got 3 years, you've got 5 years, maybe even 10 years to kick your family out of your land or your house.
What? Is that what's happening?
Yeah, so some people are here living in Pakistan because they've got court cases to attend. And they are here on behalf of the parents. Maybe the parents themselves are here. Maybe the children are here. And it's land that's been taken, none other than their own mamu. So the mum's brothers, mum's sisters, or dad's brothers, dad's sisters, or somebody in the family, whether it's your nephews, whether it's your cousins. Somebody's taken it and they're not giving it back, and they've taken it as their own. And you're here, you're stuck here for those years, maybe in the village, maybe in the city, we don't know where you are. But our thoughts and prayers are with you, my brothers and sisters. And I used to hear about this growing up, that so-and-so's taking my land, so-and-so's taking my property. I never ever thought it would happen to me, and I never ever thought it'd happen to Myra. So Myra has in her family situation where there's been property issues gone to court. I've got people in my family where property issues currently at court. So it is a big issue, and it's affecting none other than me and Myra. So I feel like we should talk about this, because if it's affecting us, it's affecting everybody, because we're just two simple people that want to do a YouTube channel, cook, clean, make some money, and eat samosas all day. I remember when I was in Sheffield, one of the nice quiet brothers that used to pray at the masjid with me, he said his cousins or his dad's cousins, I forgot which one it was, I should have got all the details. His dad's cousins have built shops and flats on his dad's land, and they said that if you do anything about it, we're going to get rid of you, kind of a thing. So these poor lads, I mean, their fathers passed away, and may Allah grant him Jannah. Actually he passed away in COVID. Maybe that's like 3 years ago, right? And unfortunately, yeah, so this friend of mine will not be visiting Pakistan because he's got death threats, which is really unfortunate. So his father's got all this land, whether he's purchased it himself or he's inherited it, and because of that, it means that now his children cannot come to Pakistan because now there's a bounty on them. They kind of can't claim the land back because they're not here to fight the cases. They can't just come to visit. So it's really affected their life. And if that's you, then please do comment. I mean, the comment section's there so people can add, maybe correct us, but maybe more so add their stories, talk about the issues that they faced.
And if it hasn't happened to you, also please tell us, Because it would be really nice to hear stories where, people have taken care of an amana and returned it.
Yeah, and
That would
said
be really nice to hear.
and said, here you go, here's your 20 acres of land, there you go, or here's your big mansion, there you go. Or you've left a family in your house and you come back 15 odd years later and they say, yeah, if you want us to move out next week, we'll move out. That would be the best case scenario. It's like squatters' rights going on here, mate.
Also, there's been stories where people are working in England, they're sending money back to their brother or their cousin or whoever, a relative in Pakistan, to say, oh, yeah, buy that land, please, on my behalf. They'll buy the land and they'll say, yeah, but I bought it for myself with your money.
Yeah. we've heard too many
it's
stories.
It's so ridiculous and so unethical that it's funny.
Yeah.
Because it's so shocking that that it's seen as okay. It's like, wow, like what?
What level of stupidity do you have to be like, yeah, this is mine, that's mine?
Imagine if they, if essentially these people who are taking over here, they'd do the same if they went to Israel.
Yeah.
And they'd be taking the Palestinians' homes.
They'll be like, yeah, it belongs to us.
That's the kind of mentality that's going on here, where you've seen something, you've got your eye on it, you want it, and you take it.
Yeah, and it's yours. I spoke to somebody who was doing some work in our flat, and I said to him, I'm going to ask you a question. Before I mentioned obviously why I'm asking him the question, I just said to him, you have a motorbike. If I say, give me your motorbike, I want it, it's mine, will you let me take it? He said, no. Why would I let you take it? It's my motorbike. So I go, why do people take other people's land and property? He goes, that's what's happened to him. So he's a local person living in the city where we are, Wakent. And he said in his own village, the house that they have, his own, like, dad's sister has taken it. And there's a little bit more land that somebody else has taken. I forgot who he was. And I go, are you okay with that? He goes, yeah, we're okay with it. I go, I think they've taken it because they know you're never going to go back to the village. And I said to him, are you really going to go back to the village when you're living here? And he said, no, not really. So maybe people are taking land so that it's not left.
Yeah, maybe it's very kind of them.
Yeah, but he didn't mind, which was shocking. He didn't mind.
He probably didn't pay for it, that's why.
Yeah. Also, not too long ago, a few weeks ago, me and Myra visited some expats that live here now, not far from us. And I remember speaking to the brother. I said, look, people are after property, they're after what you have, they want to take it. And other people have the same scenarios. Why? Because this particular family, they were born and bred in Pakistan, the husband and wife. They moved to England so many years ago, like 20 years ago, worked there, and back then they used to give you citizenship if you worked for 5 years or something like that. So they're both British nationals, but they're born here. So I felt maybe they have a better understanding of the mentality here. So when I asked the brother, I said, look, this is the situation that I'm going through. Why do you think they're doing this to me or to my father? And he said, it's simple. Your father's family feel like he does not deserve this property or this land. So that's why they take it, which makes sense. If somebody feels like you don't deserve it,
yeah, I feel like you don't deserve it, you don't need it.
They think that way.
They need it more, so they should have it, and they just take it.
Yeah, they think that just by living in England, we're getting everything paid for, everything's free. Even if we're out of a job, we get money, and we're okay. Which is kind of true to an extent. But even people that are on benefits are struggling in England.
Even people who are not on benefits in England are struggling. I mean, benefits, I don't think people get that much.
Yeah,
so they do struggle. And people who are working, remember there was, I can't remember, it was on the news, there was a nurse and she was struggling with paying her bills.
Yep.
And she was having to choose between eating certain foods and topping up her gas and electric meter. People
it's
have
getting
to work
ridiculous.
hard.
Yeah.
Even here in England, me and you at one point both had, you were doing 3 jobs at one point when we were newly married.
Yeah.
And I was doing 2 jobs and I was at uni.
Yep.
We were struggling.
Yeah.
And here we've had I've wanted a maid for such a long time. I just wanted somebody else to do the cleaning here because I struggled with it, especially in the summer. And I've had 2 people come, and I was really generous. Straight away, I was like, I'm going to pay this much above the going rate.
Yeah.
But I want, I'm gonna ask you to do different jobs, so you won't be sweeping up every time you come. You won't be mopping up every time you come. But I will want you to do extra jobs like the gardener's job, which is to water the plants upstairs. There's only like about 7 plants that need watering. It wasn't really a big job. But she came, she told me how desperate she was for a job, how, she is having issues, she's a single parent. I really wanted her to have the job because I knew we'd pay her well, I knew we'd help her as much as we could, and I wanted her to have it. But she said, oh, that's not enough money. Oh, that wouldn't be my job if I'm having to water those 7 plants. And I was like, you really need a job, and you're turning this down because you think that you can get more money out of me because I'm not a local. And that really put me off. And both times that happened, another lady came, she agreed a price on the phone, she came through somebody else, and they'd explained everything to her, that I'm a straightforward person, she just needs to come do the job, she'll get paid well, and that's it, we just want somebody that we can be comfortable with. But she came, she did her day's work, and she didn't do a day's work, she did like 2 hours of work, and she wanted more money.
So it seems like people don't want to really work, but in exchange get everything they want.
Yeah.
So they don't want to work, but they want to take your property, they want to take your land, they want you to pay them the wages, even though they've missed 3 or 4. I mean, there was maids that missed 10 days, right? That missed 15 days.
I heard about that. So she's supposed to come 6 days a week, and she came 8 days in the whole month, but was still getting paid the full
wage.
So that's such an injustice. So on one hand, there's people taking, such an imbalance.
There is, definitely.
On one hand, people are taking things that don't belong to them. That maid that was only working 8 days was also stealing.
Yeah.
But the lady that she's working for said, oh, you don't do that here, you don't confront people here in Pakistan, it's just not how things are done, that's what you guys do in England. And I was like, so that's such an injustice.
We've heard
not call out
so many
wrong.
Stories of maids stealing, haven't we?
Yeah.
They're just picking up things. They'll just pick up something, like a cleaning product, like some jewellery, just random things. They'll just pick it up and take it. Again, are they taking it because they feel like the richer family don't deserve it? Maybe. But you can't confront them because it's seen as disrespect. It's like you're disrespecting the maid by confronting the maid about what she's done. Similarly, people can get away with taking what belongs to you, but how do you confront them?
People do just leave it. A lot of people just leave it.
Yes, people just leave it. Not only do some people leave it, the other opposite is there as well. They don't want to let go of the land, i.e. there are some people, and I spoke to a brother whose father's got a lot of land and they've got a lot of issues recently, like it got completely out of hand. So I said to him, why don't you just sell it all and set up elsewhere? He goes, his father won't let him. It's within the family, it's going to stay within the family.
We touched on it once before about justice. It's really important to have justice. And people want in Pakistan that Imran Khan should be in power because he speaks out for justice.
But then you're stealing people's land.
Yeah, you steal.
And their houses.
Yeah. But
and you don't want them to come back.
Yeah, so we want Imran Khan to, people want Imran Khan to be in power because he speaks for justice. But then, the justice has to start at home. In your own house, there needs to be justice between a mother and father, between a couple, then them with their children, then...
Children with the parents.
Absolutely, children with the parents, the daughter-in-laws, the son-in-laws, the grandchildren, the neighbours. We need to practice this in our home and with our neighbours and in our area, and then extend it to the world. It's just not going to happen just like that.
Yeah, and if there's injustice going on, you fight for it.
Absolutely.
You fight for it. You try as best as you can to come to Pakistan, claim back what belongs to whoever it belongs to on behalf of them, or if you can, if it's your property, you come back and you fight for it yourself. Not everyone's in a position to do that, but it's a big thing, and it's a lesson for other people to learn that look, justice will prevail, because even in the court of law, whatever it is yours, but you have to fight for it. You can't just leave it and ignore it. It will just carry on staying as it is, and you're just encouraging this bad behaviour.
That if you see something that's wrong, you need to stop it.
Yeah.
What was it? You
stop it with your hand.
If you can't stop it with your hand, then you
speak verbally.
Yeah, verbally. And if you can't speak verbally, at least dislike it in your heart.
We're
at a stage now in Pakistan where so many people don't even think that this is wrong, taking somebody else's land. Nobody's gonna go and say, like, say for example, if I send money to Farhan, I say, Farhan, can you buy me that patch of land? And all the community knows Farhan's pocketed that land. Nobody's gonna come and say to Farhan, you know, that was wrong, Farhan. You know, that's not halal for you. Nobody's gonna say it. Nobody's even going to think it. They're going to be like, oh, nice, he's got that land.
But the opposite is, what else do you expect? Of course they're going to do it. Well, if we want change, we have to start. And when do we start? Right now. And we have to keep speaking up, and we have to keep talking about what's mentioned in our religion, and what's the right way, and what's the wrong way. And it doesn't matter if this is what you think happens here, or if it doesn't happen here. It always starts with who? You. So if you need to fight for your land, if you need to fight for your property, you should do it. Okay guys, Assalamu alaikum.
Wa alaikum salam.